Hi everyone, so today I want to show you how I made the half-star illusion card. Now, the reason why I've called it half-star illusion card is because when you turn it on its side it looks like half a star. Like this here, sticking out here, it looks like half a star. So that's why I've called it that. But basically it's kind of a step on from the suspended bookfold card that I did a week or so ago, which is this one. And obviously this is actually like it's suspended, it actually pops out, whereas this one doesn't. This is actually in place, it's not going to move. Okay, so it is a bit different, but it's very similar. Okay, so this is one of the suspended book folds that I did. Then I went off piece, then I added some acetate as well and made this one, which again, as you can see, it's suspended. And then I also made this one as well, which good for a teenager, and again this is also suspended. So these are all suspended bookfold cards, and then off the back of that I had the idea to do this one, which I'm calling a half-star illusion card. So yeah, so it's very similar. If you've watched the suspended bookfold card, then you'll be off and away with this. It should not be a problem. If you haven't, then I shall try and add a little link about now on the screen so that you can click on it and it will take you through to the suspended bookfold card. But I will be going through all the measurements and everything for this, even though it's similar. Okay, so this is the one we've done today. So yeah, so hopefully you like it. So we're going to get into it now. Okay, so to make this card, you're going to need some very similar bits to what you needed for the other card, for the suspended bookfold card. However, there are a few changes. So you're going to need the 5x7 base card, like you did with the other one, and you're also going to need the 5x5 card, and also that is going to be scored down the middle at 2.5 inches. Like you did with the suspended bookfold card. Okay, so that's the same and that's the same. Now, your strips, your hinges, are slightly different. So with this card, you need two hinges you need one hinge that is the same as the suspended bookfold. So it's 2 inches by 6 inches. If you want to, you can go ahead and make this a bit less, more like sort of 1.5, 1.75 by 6. Just because when you're cutting it out of an A4 sheet of paper, or card rather, you will find that you have a bit left over. Once you've cut your 5x7, your 5x5, you then end up with a strip left over, and actually you could get both of your strips out of that if you didn't need to do it as 2 inch wide. So if you want to make it slightly less, you can. So that's what I've done with this one. So this is just slightly less than 2 inches. This is more like 1.5, 1.75 by 6. Okay, and then whatever width you do, whatever width of your strip you do here, you can do the same with these two. And these are exactly the same width, but they're by 6.5. So you need two that are 6.5. You then need to go ahead and you score your, I'm going to call it a 2x6 for now, just to avoid confusion. So your 2x6, you're then going to go ahead and you're going to score it at 1.5, at 3, and at 4.5, exactly the same as you did with the suspended bookfold. And then the other two, that are 2x6.5, you're going to go ahead and score these at 1.5, 3, 4.5, and 6. Okay, so both of those are going to be scored like that. And then you just need to bend them all round, fold them exactly like you did on the other one. Okay, so then they can go to one side. Now, there's a bit of a difference with your mats and your layers. So with this card, you need, for the back, instead of needing 2 thin strips and a wider strip in the middle, like we did a panel in the middle, like we did with the other one, this card you need 2 panels, and these panels, the mat is 3.25 by 4.75, and the front, the pattern panel is 3 inches by 4.5 inches. Okay, so that's the 2 pieces that are going to go at the back. Now for the front piece, which is the bit that's the 5x5 at the front, you're going to need 2 pieces, and these are, the mat is 2.25 by 4.75, and the pattern is 2 inches by 4.5. Okay, so that's your, so you're only going to need 4 panels. With the suspended bookfold, you needed 5 panels, 3 for the back and 2 for the front. So you only need, you're missing a panel for this, okay? So that's that. The other difference is that on the suspended book fold, you actually have pieces, 6 pieces that cover parts of your hinges. On this one, you can if you want to, but I quite like the way you get that continuity. Is it looks like the strip is kind of threaded through the panels. So for that reason, I'm going to use ribbon, and I'm going to use ribbon that is more or less, it's not quite as wide as my panel. So I've got a nice bit of a border either side, and I've cut it so it's just marginally shorter than my strips. I think this is about 5 3/4, this one, and these are as well. And so what I'm going to do is these will be attached. I'm just, because I've got satin here and satin here, I'm going to put sticky red tape just on those 2 top and bottom bits, and I'm going to stick that onto my hinges. Okay, so we'll do that in a moment. So to start with, we're just going to go ahead and stick the 2 back panels onto your 5x7. So I'm going to go ahead and stick these, one there and one there. Now, if you want to, you can do the marking halfway again, like we did with the suspended book fold. But if you're happy, you know where the centre is, you can kind of eye it so that you can see the borders equal, then that's fine. Just go ahead and just stick it down without making a mark. Okay, so you should end up with your back panel looking like that. Note you don't need to score down the middle, this stays flat, okay. Then we can bring in the front 5x5, and we're going to go ahead and stick those 2 panels on there like that. Right, so after you've done that, you're then going to take your struts and go ahead and stick whatever you're going to put, your ribbon or whatever, you need to stick that onto the centre. Now just be mindful when you stick it down that this needs to bend, okay? So when you're sticking it on, just make sure that you're bending your struts as you go, so you know it's definitely going to fit around it. So I'm going to go ahead now and stick that down. Okay, so once you've done all of that, you should end up with something that looks a bit like that. Now, obviously, I haven't, these end panels, you know, I've left the ribbon rough because they're not going to be seen. You're only going to see the middle 2. You're not going to see the ends. Right, so what we're going to do is leave the 2x6, leave that to one side. Just bring the 2x6.5 in. And you just need to put some tape on the end here. Red tape I would use. Okay, so what you want to do is take one strip, turn it over, fold one flap plus the tab over, take your backing off, and then fold the other flap over, and that will give you a nice little cube. Okay, obviously you can see the tab inside, so then when you stick it down, just work out where you're going to put it. I'm going to put it probably that way round when I stick it down, because then the tab will be on this side, so when you're looking at the card you're not going to see it at the back. So that's one done, and then we're just going to go ahead and do the other one exactly the same. So peel your backing off, fold that flap over with the tab, then fold the other one on like that, and then that makes your little 2 boxes. So now what you want to do is make sure that you have them so that the cut edges of the ribbon are facing towards each other, the 2 boxes. So there's my 2, so they're the neat edges there. Make sure as well that it is how you've just done it, so it's nice and flat, it folds flat. Here's my join. My join is there, and my tab is underneath there, is in there. Okay, so here's my join. So you want to make sure that they're both like that. And then you're going to go ahead and put tape on here and on the same square on the back. So basically where your two cut edges are, so where your cut edges of ribbon are, they're the two squares that you want to put tape on. Okay, so you should end up with that. So I've just put tape on both sides. That's my folded edge, nice and neat, and this side is my cut edge, which is why I've done those two boxes. Okay, so we're going to bring in your back 5x7 piece. And then what you want to do, now I am going to draw a line down the centre, just because I really do want to make sure that these get going at the right place. So I've actually marked already, and I'm just going to draw a little line in the centre here, so I know where the centre of my card is. So then when we've done that, we're going to take our little boxes, and it's basically the same as the suspended book fold. We're going to line them up, and then we're going to stick them down so that they line up. So I'm going to take the backing off that one, turn it over, and I'm going to line this cut edge up with that line I've just drawn. I'm going to make sure that top and bottom it's basically halfway. So it's going to be about there. And then I'm going to do the same with this one. So this is going to marry up with that one, and it's going to go there. So you end up with that, and if you just pop them up, you will see you've got two like little boxes sticking up on your card. Okay, so that's good. Right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take the backing off of these like that. I'm going to take it off one side first, and then I'm going to do it on the other. I'm going to bring in my 5x5 card, fold it in half, and then I'm going to marry this folded edge up with the halfway line. In fact, I'm going to go the other side actually. I'm going to go the other side like this. This is the side that's not sticky. I'm going to get it exactly in the right place like that, and then I'm going to carefully hold the right hand side, which isn't sticky, and open up the left hand side and stick it down. Then I can do the opposite, and it should all work out perfectly, hopefully. So we're going to do it like that, and then we're going to turn that over like that. And then when you open this up, give it a bit of a squidge either way, you should end up with that. Okay. So obviously with the suspended book fold that I did, this was free. You could get your hand down the middle, but with this one you can't, because you've made two boxes. You've basically got like little little boxes and a little flappy bit on the top. Okay. So that's what you end up there. Now, if you wanted to, you could leave it like that. Obviously, it stands up nicely. You could do it like that. It's another way of doing sort of like a suspended book fold, but not obviously suspended. So you could leave it at that, or you could carry on with what we're going to do now and put the extra piece in. Okay, so we're going to do exactly the same as we did with the book fold on this piece. So we're going to take it, we're going to put tape on this end square and on that end square. Okay, so you end up with that. So that's obviously where the fold is. And then if you just fold your piece in half, like that, take the backing off one side. Okay, so then you're going to take the sticky side that you got there, turn it over, and you're literally going to line it up so that it sticks into the middle. So in that crease there, and it lines up with this, so top and bottom lines up with this side here. I'm just going to bring it out slightly. Just be mindful of the fact that once you lay it down, it's going to stick. Okay, so I'm going to bring that up to there like that. And then we're just going to stick it down like that, and you end up with that. So that then should look like it continues through the card itself. Okay, and then we're just going to take the backing off of this. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold it right in like that, and I'm going to open the whole thing out flat and stick it down, because otherwise what will happen is you might find that it doesn't want to go flat in your card. So if you do it like that, and then hopefully you should then be able to, now I've got a little bit of, so I've got a little bit, where I folded it flat, this tab here is a tiny bit too long, so it's now struggling to open properly. So I'm just going to give it a helping hand and squish it a little bit. Yeah, I've got a bit of it, it's a bit too long. That's fine. So I should have probably trimmed that a little bit. So just watch out for that when you do yours. So I'm just going to get my finger in there and give it a good old crease. There we go. So then from the top, it looks a bit like a half star. And from the front, it looks like that piece is being threaded all the way from the back, all the way through to the front. Now to finish this off, I didn't want to put too much on it. I quite like the idea of having something at the front there, like I did with my others. However, I didn't want to kind of cover up the fact that I've got that nice, you know, ribbon on the front. So I have got these Merry Christmases that I got from Hobbycraft, and I'm going to stick one of those just at the top there, I think. And then I've got a whole load of little gold and silver stars, and I thought I might have them popping up from inside the box. So it all kind of, you know, pops up. So I'm going to go ahead and stick my, so the Merry Christmas would look good there, but no, I think I'm going to prefer it there. So I'm going to stick Merry Christmas at the top. Like that. And then what I'm going to do is I've cut a few little strips of acetate, just really, I don't even know if you can see that, there we go. Really thin strips of acetate, and I'm just going to stick a little bit on tape on the back, stick my star on, and then I'm going to have them coming out of here at different angles. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, so there's the finished card. So hopefully you like it. It's got a bit of a wow factor. Obviously you can plump it up as much as you want, but it's just a bit different. Quite like it. Again, this was my design, so if you do it, please credit me on it. That would be great. So yeah, so hopefully you have a go. Hope you like the video. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we'll see you next time. Bye.